The Galactic Council's ultimatum. In the vast expanse of the universe, the Galactic Council reigned supreme. Comprised of the most advanced and powerful civilizations, the Council served as the governing body for the majority of known space. Their influence stretched across countless star systems, and their decisions shaped the fate of entire species. Earth, a small blue planet located in a remote corner of the Milky Way, had only recently been discovered by the Council's scouts. The initial assessment of humanity was dismissive at best. The Council viewed humans as a primitive, technologically inferior species that posed no significant threat or value to the galactic community. However, as the Council's observations of Earth continued, they began to take notice of humanity's rapid advancements. In a matter of centuries, humans had progressed from simple tools to space exploration, a feat that had taken most Council species millennia to achieve. The Council grew wary of humanity's potential and decided it was time to intervene. The Council's emissary, a tall, slender being with iridescent skin and piercing violet eyes, arrived on Earth with a message. The emissary, known as Zarnix, stood before the United Nations Assembly and delivered the Council's ultimatum. "People of Earth," Zarnix began, his voice echoing through the chamber, "the Galactic Council has been observing your species for some time. While your progress is admirable, your continued existence as an independent civilization poses a threat to the stability of the galactic community." The assembly erupted in murmurs of disbelief and outrage. Zarnix raised a hand, silencing the crowd. "The Council offers you a choice. You may surrender your sovereignty and join the galactic community as a subservient member, subject to our laws and regulations. In return, you will be granted access to advanced technologies and the protection of the Council." The human representatives listened in stunned silence as Zarnix continued. "Should you choose to refuse this generous offer, the Council will have no choice but to consider you a hostile entity. You will face the full might of our combined forces, and your planet will be subjugated by any means necessary." The ultimatum hung heavy in the air, the fate of humanity resting on the decision of the assembled leaders. Zarnix stepped back, his eyes scanning the room. "You have one Earth rotation to provide your answer. Choose wisely, for the future of your species depends on it." With that, Zarnix turned and exited the chamber, leaving the human representatives to grapple with the weight of the Council's ultimatum. The room buzzed with heated discussions and debates as the leaders of Earth contemplated their options. Some argued for surrender, believing that the Council's offer of protection and advanced technology was too valuable to refuse. Others, however, stood firm in their conviction that humanity must retain its independence and sovereignty at all costs. As the deadline approached, a consensus emerged. The human representatives, united in their determination, crafted their response to the Council. They would not bend to the will of an alien power, no matter the consequences. The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine the fate of not only Earth but the entire galaxy. Humanity stood on the brink of its greatest challenge, ready to face the full might of the Galactic Council in a battle for survival and freedom. Little did the Council know that Earth had a secret weapon, one that would change the course of the impending war and shake the very foundations of the galactic order. The humans were about to prove that they were more than just a primitive species. They were a force to be reckoned with. Earth's defiance and preparation. The United Nations Assembly fell silent as the human representatives delivered their response to the Galactic Council's ultimatum. The message was clear and unwavering. Earth would not surrender its sovereignty. The assembled leaders stood united in their defiance, ready to face the consequences of their decision. In the days that followed, humanity began preparations for the impending conflict. Governments around the world set aside their differences, pooling resources and expertise to bolster Earth's defenses. Scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to develop new technologies and weapons that could stand against the advanced might of the Council's forces. Among these innovations was a secret weapon, one that had been in development for years before the Council's ultimatum. The project, known only to a select few, was the result of humanity's ingenuity and determination. It was a testament to the resilience and adaptability of the human spirit in the face of overwhelming odds. Dr. Lena Soren, a brilliant physicist and the lead researcher on the project, stood before a gathered group of Earth's leaders. Her eyes gleamed with a mix of excitement and trepidation as she prepared to unveil the secret weapon. "Ladies and gentlemen," Dr. Soren began, "what I am about to show you may very well change the course of this war, and perhaps the future of humanity itself." With a nod to her assistant, Dr. Soren activated a holographic display. The image of a sleek, angular device rotated slowly in the air, its surface pulsing with an eerie blue light. The assembled leaders leaned forward, their eyes widening as they took in the sight of the weapon. "This," Dr. Soren continued, "is the Aegis system. It is a highly advanced, multi-layered defense mechanism that utilizes a combination of quantum entanglement and gravitational manipulation to create an impenetrable shield around Earth." She paused, allowing the magnitude of her words to sink in. "With the Aegis system in place, no Council ship or weapon will be able to breach our defenses. We will be able to protect our planet and our people from any attack, no matter how powerful." The leaders murmured in astonishment, their hope renewed by the revelation of this game-changing technology. Dr. Soren fielded questions and concerns, her confidence in the Aegis system unwavering. As the meeting adjourned, Earth's leaders set about implementing the Aegis system and coordinating the planet's defenses. The skies above Earth became a hive of activity, with ships and satellites working in unison to establish the shield that would protect humanity from the Council's wrath. Meanwhile, the Council's forces gathered at the edge of Earth's solar system, their ships bristling with advanced weaponry. The Council's leaders, confident in their superiority, prepared to make an example of the defiant humans. They believed that Earth's resistance would crumble in the face of their overwhelming power. However, as the Council's ships approached Earth, they were met with an unexpected sight. The planet was encased in a shimmering, translucent barrier, pulsing with an otherworldly energy. The Aegis system had been activated, and Earth was now protected by a shield that no known weapon could penetrate. The Council's attack began in earnest, with ships and weapons firing upon the Aegis system with all their might. To their shock and dismay, the shield held firm, absorbing the energy of their attacks and reflecting it back upon the aggressors. Earth's defenders watched in awe as the Council's ships were battered and broken by their own weapons, their hulls crumpling under the onslaught of reflected energy. As the battle raged on, it became clear that the Council had severely underestimated humanity's resolve and ingenuity. Earth's secret weapon had leveled the playing field, and the humans were now more than capable of defending their home against the galaxy's most powerful forces. The tide was turning, and the Galactic Council found itself facing an adversary unlike any it had encountered before. The humans, once dismissed as primitive and insignificant, were now a force to be reckoned with, and the Council would soon learn the true cost of its arrogance. The Galactic Siege. As the Galactic Council's ships regrouped and reassessed their strategy, Earth's forces prepared for the inevitable counterattack. The Aegis system had proven its worth, but the human defenders knew that the Council would not relent easily. The battle for Earth's freedom had only just begun. The Council's next move was a coordinated assault on multiple fronts. Their ships, armed with the most advanced weaponry in the galaxy, targeted key cities and military installations across the planet. The skies above Earth lit up with the fire of 1,000 suns as the Council's forces unleashed their fury upon the human world. Yet, even in the face of this onslaught, Earth's defenders stood firm. The Aegis system continued to hold, its shimmering barrier absorbing and reflecting the Council's attacks. Human pilots, trained in the art of space combat, took to the skies in sleek, maneuverable fighters, engaging the Council's ships in daring dogfights. On the ground, Earth's armies fought with a tenacity and skill that belied their relatively primitive technology. Human soldiers, armed with advanced weapons and armor developed in secret, held the line against the Council's ground forces. The streets of Earth's cities became battlegrounds, with humans and aliens locked in a deadly struggle for supremacy. As the siege wore on, the Council's losses began to mount. Their ships, once thought invincible, fell to the combined might of Earth's defenses and the ingenuity of its people. The Aegis system, powered by a network of hidden generators and relay stations, continued to hold strong, frustrating the Council's attempts to breach the planet's defenses. In the midst of the chaos, a small group of human infiltrators managed to board one of the Council's command ships. Led by Captain Noravos, a decorated Special Forces operative, the team fought their way through the ship's defenses, their goal to strike at the heart of the Council's leadership. As they battled through the ship's corridors, Captain Voss and her team discovered a shocking truth. The Council, for all its advanced technology and supposed superiority, was not a united front. Many of the species that made up the Council's ranks were unwilling participants, forced into servitude by the Council's ruling elite. With this knowledge, Captain Voss and her team hatched a daring plan. They would not only strike at the Council's leadership, but also sow the seeds of rebellion among its subjugated members. Using the ship's communication systems, they'd broadcast a message of hope and defiance to the Council's forces, urging them to rise up against their oppressors and join Earth in the fight for freedom. The message spread like wildfire, and soon, dissent began to spread among the Council's ranks. Ships and soldiers that had once fought against Earth now turned their weapons on their former masters, joining the human resistance in a united front against the Council's tyranny. Back on Earth, the tide of the battle was turning. The Council's forces, now weakened by internal strife and the loss of key command structures, began to falter. The Aegis system, bolstered by the newfound support of rebel Council forces, held strong against the dwindling attacks. In a final desperate bid for victory, the Council's remaining leaders unleashed their most devastating weapon, a massive planet-killing warship known as the Harbinger. The ship, larger than any vessel ever seen by human eyes, descended upon Earth like a harbinger of doom, its weapons charged and ready to reduce the planet to ashes. But the humans, united in their defiance and bolstered by their newfound allies, were ready. As the Harbinger approached, Earth's forces launched a coordinated assault, targeting the ship's weaknesses with a combination of cunning strategy and sheer, unyielding determination. In the end, it was the Aegis system that dealt the final blow. The shield, pushed to its limits by the Harbinger's onslaught, unleashed a massive burst of energy, engulfing the warship in a blinding flash of light. When the light faded, the Harbinger was no more, reduced to a cloud of debris and dust. The Galactic Council, its forces in disarray and its leadership shattered, had no choice but to retreat. Earth had won the day, but the cost had been high. The planet's cities lay in ruins, and countless lives had been lost in the fight for freedom. Yet, as the smoke cleared and the dust settled, humanity emerged stronger than ever. They had faced the greatest threat the galaxy had ever known and emerged victorious, united in their determination to forge a new path for themselves among the stars. The galactic siege had ended, but the story of humanity's ascent was only just beginning. Turning the tide. In the aftermath of the galactic siege, Earth found itself at a crossroads. The planet had emerged victorious, but the cost had been high. Cities lay in ruins, and the loss of life had been staggering. Yet, even in the face of such devastation, humanity refused to bend or break. As the dust settled, the Council's remaining leaders, humbled by their defeat, sought to understand how a seemingly primitive species had managed to resist their might. They delved into the history of humanity, studying the countless wars, conflicts, and struggles that had shaped the species over millennia. What they found was a testament to the resilience and adaptability of the human spirit. Humans, unlike many of the Council's member species, had not been born into a universe of plenty. They had fought for every scrap of knowledge, every inch of progress, and every moment of survival. It was this very struggle that had forged humanity into the unyielding force it had become. The Council, faced with the realization of its own hubris, began to reassess its position in the galaxy. The ruling elite, once secure in their power, now found themselves challenged by the very species they had sought to subjugate. The seeds of rebellion, sown by Captain Voss and her team, had taken root, and the Council's grip on its member species was slipping. On Earth, the process of rebuilding began. The Aegis system, once a closely guarded secret, was now shared openly with the world. Scientists and engineers from across the planet worked tirelessly to understand and improve upon the technology, seeking to create a more stable and sustainable defense for their world. As humanity rebuilt and fortified its defenses, a new alliance began to form. The rebel forces that had turned against the Council during the Galactic siege now sought to forge closer ties with Earth. These species, long oppressed by the Council's rule, saw in humanity a kindred spirit, a species that had fought against all odds and emerged victorious. Together, Earth and its new allies began to plan their next move. They knew that the Council, while weakened, was far from defeated. The ruling elite would not relinquish their power easily, and the alliance would need to strike fast and hard to capitalize on their momentum. The first target was a key Council stronghold, a heavily fortified space station that served as a hub for the Council's military operations. The station, known as the Nexus, was a symbol of the Council's power and a critical link in their supply chain. The Alliance, led by Earth's finest military minds and bolstered by the unique abilities of their alien allies, launched a daring assault on the Nexus. The station's defenses, once thought impregnable, crumbled under the onslaught of the Alliance's combined forces. As the Nexus fell, the Council's grip on the galaxy began to unravel. More and more species, emboldened by the Alliance's success, rose up against their oppressors. The Council, once a monolithic entity, found itself beset on all sides by a growing tide of resistance. Earth, now the de facto leader of the Alliance, pressed its advantage. Human diplomats, skilled in the art of negotiation and compromise, worked to bring more species into the fold. They offered a vision of a galaxy united not by force, but by shared values and mutual respect. As the Alliance grew, so too did its military might. Earth's advanced technologies, combined with the unique abilities of its alien allies, formed a formidable force that the Council could no longer ignore. The ruling elite, once confident in their superiority, now found themselves on the defensive, their ships and soldiers outmatched and outmaneuvered at every turn. The tide had turned, and the balance of power in the galaxy had shifted. The Council, once the unquestioned masters of the universe, now faced a reckoning. The Alliance, led by Earth and its allies, stood poised to deliver the final blow, a decisive strike that would shatter the Council's hold on the galaxy once and for all. The stage was set for a final confrontation, a battle that would determine the fate of not only Earth but the entire galaxy. Humanity, once dismissed as a primitive and insignificant species, had risen to become the catalyst for change, the spark that would ignite a revolution across the stars. A new galactic era. The final battle was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The Alliance, led by Earth and its allies, launched a coordinated assault on the Council's last remaining stronghold, a massive fortified planet known as the Citadel. The Citadel, home to the Council's ruling elite and the heart of their power, was a symbol of their dominance over the galaxy. The Alliance's fleet, a diverse array of ships from countless worlds, descended upon the Citadel like a swarm of vengeful angels. The Council's defenses, once thought impenetrable, crumbled under the onslaught of the Alliance's advanced weaponry and the sheer determination of its fighters. On the surface of the Citadel, Earth's special forces, led once again by Captain Voss, fought their way through the planet's defenses. They were joined by the most skilled warriors from across the Alliance, each bringing their own unique abilities to bear against the Council's forces. As the battle raged, the true extent of the Council's cruelty and oppression became clear. The ruling elite, desperate to maintain their grip on power, unleashed horrific weapons and tactics upon the Alliance's forces. They cared little for the lives of their own soldiers, sacrificing them in droves to slow the Alliance's advance. Yet, even in the face of such ruthlessness, the Alliance pressed on. They fought not just for their own freedom. Yet, even in the face of such ruthlessness, the Alliance pressed on. They fought not just for their own freedom, but for the liberation of every species that had suffered under the Council's rule. The sacrifices made by the brave soldiers of the Alliance only served to fuel their determination and resolve. As the battle neared its climax, Captain Voss and her team finally breached the defenses of the Council's inner sanctum. There, they confronted the leaders of the Council, the architects of the galaxy's oppression. The ensuing battle was fierce and brutal, with both sides unleashing every weapon and tactic at their disposal. In the end, it was the Alliance that emerged victorious. The Council's leaders, once thought untouchable, were brought to their knees before the might of the United Galaxy. The Citadel, the symbol of their power, lay in ruins, a testament to the strength and resilience of those who had fought against tyranny. With the Council's defeat, a new era dawned upon the galaxy. The Alliance, now the dominant power, set about the task of rebuilding and healing the wounds of the past. Earth, as the leader of the Alliance, played a key role in shaping the future of the galaxy. The first step was the establishment of a new galactic community, one founded on the principles of equality, freedom, and cooperation. Every species, regardless of their past allegiance or status, was invited to join this new community as an equal partner. The days of subjugation and oppression were over, replaced by a spirit of unity and shared purpose. Earth, with its advanced technologies and experience in diplomacy, became a guiding light for the new community. Human leaders worked tirelessly to foster understanding and cooperation among the diverse species of the galaxy. They shared their knowledge and resources freely, helping to uplift those who had been left behind by the Council's rule. As the galaxy healed and prospered, humanity's place in the cosmos was forever changed. No longer were they the primitive, insignificant species they had once been seen as. They were now the guardians of peace, the champions of freedom, and the architects of a new galactic order. The story of humanity's rise from obscurity to the pinnacle of galactic power would be told for generations to come. It was a testament to the indomitable spirit of a species that had refused to submit, even in the face of overwhelming odds. The galaxy had been forever changed by the actions of a small blue planet and its brave defenders. As the new galactic community looked to the future, they did so with hope and optimism. The scars of the past would take time to heal, but the foundation had been laid for a brighter tomorrow. Earth and its allies had shown that unity and cooperation could overcome even the greatest of challenges. And so, as the stars continued to shine upon the galaxy, the story of humanity's ascent became legend. The once primitive species had risen to become the guardians of the cosmos, the defenders of freedom and justice. The Council, once the masters of the galaxy, were now nothing more than a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and oppression. In the end, it was not the might of weapons or the power of technology that had saved the galaxy. It was the courage, determination, and unbreakable spirit of those who had fought for what was right. The galaxy had been forever changed, and humanity had taken its rightful place among the stars. Thus ends the tale of Earth's rise and the fall of the Galactic Council, but the story of the new galactic community and its infinite potential was only just beginning. The future, once uncertain and fraught with peril, now shone brightly with the promise of a better tomorrow. A tomorrow forged by the unity and strength of a galaxy united.